acting like I'm up the chairman.
You know, Rush, I was talking to Rush about serving fiber. Offer system.
Yeah, do it.
He said just do it. Not my first year.
Ask forgiveness and not remission.
Much younger than me.
He said they want to.
For years.
They want to.
There you go. What we do, just went and offered it.
Probably would have to sell them our fiber or something. Give it to them.
No,
Drag it out long
they've
enough
gone off
to
yet. He's like, okay, Grandma.
Did I see you at the city?
Yes, I was at the meeting last night.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't speak to you.
Oh, that's all right. It's for Coffee County leadership. I'm trying to get my leadership points. And I just
You want me to
No.
sign off for you for a couple?
No, I was really invested.
I'd like to call this evening's meeting together. This is the work session for the Tullahoma Utilities Authority. Mr. Potter's going to be going over update on the APPA legislative rally, and also going to explain to us what wastewater treatment process. Work sessions, we just listen, we don't judge, we don't vote.
You can't ask questions.
We can't ask questions. So, have at it. Thank you.
So I hate Dr. Leffler's not here because he requested a work session after we do legislative events. So hopefully he's watching on TV. So in February, the end of February, the 23rd, myself and JT were in DC at the APPA, which is American Public Power Association legislative rally. And what the APPA does is, they have lobbyists in DC that are lobbying on the public power company's behalf for anything that could negatively or positively impact utilities. So they're our voice in DC, and then once a year we go up to DC and meet with our senators and congresspeople. So also the TMEPA, which is Tennessee Municipal Electric Power Association, we stay together up there, because we got the same senators and congressmen. So we have a group up there that's representing Tennessee as well. So there's obviously our Senator Marsha Blackburn, Senator Bill Haggerty, and Congressman Scott Desjardins. We had the privilege of speaking to and meeting all three of them. And their aides are very helpful in listening to our concerns. So what I'll do is just go over, we had really 5 major concerns that we were wanting to discuss with our leaders in DC, put the bug in their ear and let them know what we are concerned with regarding our industry. Okay, Chris. Kelly, thank you. First off was preserving the tax-exempt municipal bonds. And the reason this is an item is as they're trying to do budget cuts and tax decreases and cut taxes, really the only way they can do that is cut funding from somewhere else. So one of the suggestions in a bill that's floating around in DC was to cut tax-exempt municipal bonds, which the estimate is it would save or create $250 million in revenues. Obviously, as a public utility, a municipality, we would be opposed to that bill. It affords us options and opportunities if and when we need to borrow money at a 0% interest rate. So that was one of our key concerns that we relayed over to our representatives. Okay, Kelly. Also, stop me along the way if you have questions about any of the 5.
Let me ask you about that. I thought a municipal bond was what you sold to the public at normally a lower rate. Are you talking about we do bonds at 0? Who buys them?
A municipal bond has a 0% interest rate. Now, we don't currently have any municipal bonds.
We have had.
We have had. Yeah. Light 2, I believe, was a municipal bond.
Well, who backs them?
It's like you're talking about. You're selling it to individuals. Investors.
Oh, I understand the concept,
Yep.
but who would buy a bond with no return on it? That's like But
Well,
I don't understand, I guess I'm sorry, I don't understand the concept. It's a great concept.
Well, I will
except
not
for
stand
the
up
borrower.
here and act like I'm an expert in bonds, period. But go ahead, JT.
Well, in the past, the federal government has allotted money for for different municipalities. Public power is one of them, to help finance big things.
Capital project.
Yeah, and for nonprofit organizations like us, and that's been the way it's been for years. So for us, some of those come through TVA too. See,
So those are bonds issued by the government.
right?
Instead of a grant, they do it as a bond.
Yeah.
So they expect to be paid back.
Right.
They just don't expect any
And
return.
that's why.
That's right.
That's why it goes to
Okay.
Congress.
Okay.
That's why it goes to Congress. It's because
Okay.
it's government funded bonds, and that we do pay back.
So it's not like a private bond?
No,
Deal.
not at all.
Okay.
So we take a loyal listener to invest in that. And
No,
to
we
help-
take the federal
help.
government.
Yeah, the federal government.
Federal
The federal government.
And that's why it's-
backs
that's why
it.
it's-
That's why it's
it's on-
zero.
on the-
Yeah, no, nobody's
On the
gonna
books
buy it.
for decreasing.
That's, okay,
Yeah.
so that's the way the government does it.
Right.
They just want their money back. They don't,
Yeah.
they're not asking for it.
Exactly.
And what they're talking about doing is going in, we want to start charging interest.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Make it a money making thing.
and the estimate was 250 million over, I'm sorry, billion,
Big.
over 10-year period.
So do you have any idea what interest rate, or was it a floating, or, I mean, how'd they come up with that figure?
Based on prime, I guess.
Yeah.
All this was is, you know,
This is just
small writing in a large
No, I
bill.
understand. I'm
Yeah.
a taxpayer, I
Right. Sure.
understand the concept. Okay, thank you.
The ERA funding, the government is rewarding grants and another 0% interest loan to cooperatives for certain projects. 7 States is a cooperative that we are a member of, along with the other 153 local power companies in the TVA territory. They were awarded a $414 million 0% interest loan, also a $25 million grant to construct a 250 megawatt solar farm. And we've discussed it in here that TVA is in not so great of a position right now on generation, and they have reached their debt limit. So this is what they consider alternative financing, where someone other than TVA is constructing a generation system. So on the 20th of January, an executive order was signed that paused all, grants and 0% interest loans and that type of funding for 90 days. So our recommendation is, once the pause is over, please still reward this grant and dollars to 7 states, as it is an overall benefit to the local power companies in the valley.
There again, I have another question. This implies it all has to go to solar?
This project is solar.
So-
So they wrote a grant or an application, and it's strictly for solar, the 7 states project.
So, again, I guess my question is, why support solar when there has been experiments done out west where they've lost billions of dollars supporting the solar? Why don't they, just to have the money to do something with, I'm opposed to. I would be all in for it if they were doing nuclear or something along that line.
So-
You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not proven to be economic.
So TVA is an advocate for nuclear in the form of a small modular nuclear reactor. This is not a TVA project, completely separate from TVA. 7 states, a cooperative, would own this generation and sell power to TVA and the other. We would be an owner, part owner, 153 owner of that.
So TUA would be part of an ownership in it, is that correct?
Yeah, because we are a member of 7 states.
Who did the thinking on this?
7 states.
Well, I understand 7 states, but who were the 7 people that came up with solar power?
Well, that would be their board and their leader, Betsy McCall.
Yeah, I understand where I'm coming from. This is not something that isn't publicly known, the downsides of solar and the cost affiliated with it.
Yeah.
Because they have spent $1 billion at some place out west, and they shut it down.
So-
Totally
But let me say
shut it
this
down.
though, that's, your point is well made, but that's not totally true for all solar applications.
Oh, I'm not necessarily
Okay,
saying.
or the majority of solar applications. Of course, here in the valley, it's, in Tennessee, particularly east, it's not a lot of big application for solar. We hydro. But you gotta realize, this is APPA and it represents utilities across the country. This is not a localized thing.
said it was seven states.
But it has been proven in some areas that solar energy is a good investment for some areas. Some areas it's not. The ones you're talking about, it was.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
the
out
Ivan
west.
Pod
Yeah, so.
project, which
Yeah,
was a
so, but
disaster.
you can't make that assessment based on just that information for the ones that fail.
Well, I certainly agree with you. I guess
Right,
the point being
right.
is it's been well thought out and economically based, because apparently there have been several that have been, spend your money, it's going to work, and the next thing you know,
But there's been several that benefit too.
as a taxpayer, I would love to have seen it gone for something more.
Well,
But
again,
that's not my call.
Well, again, you don't have all the data for all of the solar either.
Bush, was that in Seattle, by the way?
I'm not sure
'Cause I know
exactly,
I
but
was
there
so
was a,
surprised
it
at
was.
the
That was in
well, they
the,
were-
that was
in
Mojave
Seattle.
Desert.
Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
This is the Mojave Desert.
I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big
It
federal
was.
project.
Yeah, it was.
7 states, does that refer to 7 states?
Yeah, the TVA territory is
Florida
7
one-
states.
Florida's not one of them.
No.
No, because I
So-
saw a bunch of huge solar farms on the way to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen them.
Oh, they're all over the place.
So it's tough sometimes to, and I have this, it's challenging for me, taking personal views out of, political and what affects our industry. We have to find a way to separate that. I may have the personal view that the government is giving too much money away, but I would probably not be smart to think, okay, because I don't want them to give that money away, that 7 states should decline it, because it's going somewhere. So, and I learned a lot. This is my 2nd or 3rd trip to DC doing this, and you're not going to agree with everything that APPA or TMEPA, but we have a voice in that. I agree that if we were getting to choose what type of generation, no one across the valley would say that we need to build solar
Or
and
invest
be
in it.
fully dependent upon that.
That's right.
But TVA's peak is 3,500 megawatts,
Yeah.
rounded. This is 250 megawatts, so this is just a supplement, a very small piece of the pie that they're wanting to.
So that's not a whole lot generated for $414 million.
Yeah, we have a 250,
We don't, I understand.
250 kW.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the point being is, we have, my voice in it is not gonna change anything. It's just the fact of the concept that we can't constantly be taking money just because it's there. But 7 states, we keep looking at things like it's a drop in the bucket when you think about it, but every little bit helps. But I just wanted to voice that I'm hoping they really have a return on this, not just an investment because the money's there. And that's my voice.
And that's right. And let's say this and probably move on. But again, realize that APPA, it gets input from all the country. If you're out in some areas, there's no hydro balance. Okay, so the solution for hydro is so good for us, and the most energy and cost effective way for us certainly is not the way it is for a lot of people in Arizona.
I agree.
Okay, so some of the things that you're going to see here, and again, like Alan said, this board represents all of public power across the nation. So you're gonna see things that,
Well, what are the 7 states that are affected since TVA's
TVA.
firing it?
Region, right?
TVA reach.
So that'd be Alabama, Mississippi, I guess, Georgia, Tennessee,
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
South Carolina,
South
Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Good questions, they really are.
it is, yeah.
Okay, next slide. Distribution transformers, this has been a hot topic since COVID and the supply chains went south. There's many options they're trying to do, even a strategic transformer reserve has been discussed. But we were just voicing our support to any way the federal government can help us with our transformer supply chain issues. Obviously, we import a lot of the metals that are in transformers from other countries. So there was concern about the tariffs. We ordered a large transformer. JSP's expanding. We ordered them a large transformer. It's 70 weeks out. So
70?
70 weeks.
Wow.
So
And the parts for a lot of these transformers, critical parts.
yeah.
Is manufacturing channel.
Residential transformers we're good on. We stay ahead of the game and keep stocked up here on our site. Okay, Kelly. TVA board nominees. The TVA board consists of 9 members that are appointed by the President of the United States and confirmed by the Senate. They are down to 6 right now, with 1 term ending in May. So they'll be down to 5 board members. The CEO has announced his retirement, and so our recommendation is for the President to swiftly appoint new board members so we can have a new CEO at TVA. Since we were in D.C. This week, Senator Blackman and Bill Hagerty wrote a joint letter recommending, for lack of a better term, a complete overhaul of the board and hiring a CEO from externally. So our senators are definitely informed and working on the TVA situation.
The CEO is the only one that they're needing, or they want to replace the whole board?
So they're going to have to replace at least 4 board members.
Because they're termed out?
They're termed out.
Term,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
terms.
They're 5-year terms. The chairman, his term ends in May. So this president will appoint 4, actually I think by the end of president's term, he will have appointed all new TVA board members.
Has that always been the case, the way they come up on reappointments?
It has since they went to this model. TVA used to be managed by a committee of 3, and then years ago they went to a 9-member board and hired a president to oversee the operations. Questions about TVA board? Next slide.
Is part of that, from what I saw in the Public Power Magazine article, that Senator Blackburn and Hagerty are basically challenging, because TVA has so many challenges right now, it sounds like they want some new voices to help deal with some of those
That is
issues.
accurate. That's accurate statement. I interpret it that way as well. I'm probably a little more sensitive to the issues that TVA are going through because, they have done such a great job over the years of projecting growth. But what happened is no one projected the growth
That's right.
to the valley over the years, so they were not building the generation to keep up with the growth. The demand, that's correct. So, but I do interpret that the same way that you do, is that they are frustrated with TVA's leadership. I'm not saying that I share that sentiment.
I will say this, it's we're very fortunate. If you listen to all of the problems from areas outside of TVA, power, the cost for power, the inconsistencies that these people have to go through from the Midwest on out is unbelievable.
Or is it reasonable?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, so one thing that is very concerning to me is there are some that want to do away with TVA and make it a publicly owned, operated organization. Not publicly.
Privately.
Private, yeah. That is a very dangerous thing. And for what we've received over the years, now I'm not challenging, you know, there may be some need to really challenge the board members and how it's been run. That's okay, but there's some strong thoughts, and I remember 4 years ago, even our president was wanting to do away with TVA, and that's something we should really fight for. We being the people on this board. TVA has been a stable, really good partner with the utilities of the South. And even those in Alabama, some areas in Alabama that are not with TVA have problems. So this is going to be a very interesting thing as time goes on, and something worth watching, see what happens.
Well, they're stating that this AI, the power needed, I guess that's where Microsoft is going in. I think it's Microsoft that's going in to buy a nuclear generator to fuel just their stuff.
They're
So-
restarting 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
something on that line, but it was a concept that I guess TVA, if we're gonna stay in the race, especially in this area, we're gonna have to own it. Of
Yeah.
course, there's a Chinese firm that apparently come in and cut a lot of what power, so we don't know, but it is something to consider, even in our area. Maybe we ought to buy nuclear.
I will say this, that
Can we afford it?
I believe we all know why there's such concern around TVA, and it's about the rolling blackouts. If that had not had happened, you know, we're probably having a different discussion here. And there are some that think that TVA should never have to have a rolling blackout. And that's the first rolling blackout in TVA history. Okay, NERC, who has a lot of the requirements and oversees the reliability of the power of the entire nation, even allows for a rolling blackout every 10 years. You know, that's acceptable. The issue is, if you do not want to have a rolling blackout, that's achievable. It really is. But that comes at a cost, and that cost is to our ratepayers. So I feel like that if we polled our ratepayers and said, are you okay with a 15-minute rolling blackout every 80 years, and we do not double your power bill, they would unanimously say yes. So we can't want for 100% reliability and not discuss the cost that goes into that.
Exactly right.
Good point.
Plus, we're spoiled. See, we've never had to deal with any blackouts. It's a good thing to be spoiled. I'm just saying, you know, the community that TVA serves, unlike others, we're not used to that. You know, but a part of that too is because of the growth. The growth that's been seen, and the need for power with all this growth. So, but again, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the
Well, let's
TVA.
certainly hope it does not go private.
Oh,
Because then you take
yeah.
the people's voice out of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And our last topic was municipal broadband in the form of not allowing the FCC to have a say in what we charge for attaching to TUA poles. The TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, is our regulatory body, and they determine what we charge other telecommunication companies to attach to poles. You know, we obviously support municipal broadband. We have our own system here. We would love to be able to serve off of this system, so we do not see why the FCC would get involved with pricing pole attachments.
That's crazy.
But the background is, a senator from a different state has a friend that works for a telecom company who complained that the pole attachment rates was too high. So these are how some of these bills are born. Any questions about the legislative rally? Okay. Second topic is the wastewater treatment plant at the request of Mr. Toma. So there's just a flyover or a drone pic of our facilities down on Franklin Street. You can go to the next slide, Kelly. So it's actually not a very difficult process. There's two 48-inch pipes that deliver the wastewater to our treatment plant. We start at the top, and then it'll hit the screen 1 and screen 2 there, about a third of the way down the page. That removes the larger objects, such as solids. That's then taken to the landfill. And then it goes to the grit chambers, and those are the smaller items. Those two then also go to the landfill. From there, it goes to the wet well. I'm sorry, it does not go to the wet well. It goes to the wet well if the screw pumps are down. If the screw pumps were running, which they normally are, it goes that route. Hopefully you can follow, it's kind of small up there.
Right.
Then it goes to the aeration basin, which is basically a grease trap. And then from there, over to basin 1 and basin 2. So we're basically capable of 5 million gallons of wastewater treatment at any given time. And then from there, it goes to the digesters, and to why I believe Alderman Toma wanted to have this discussion, we take our truck and then take it to landfills. Sorry, not landfills, farmer sites. And Kelly, if you go to the next slide, currently Senator Bowling and Representative Bricken have two bills, and this is specific to Grundy County. Is they are wanting to give control to these permits on where you dump the sludge at to Grundy County. Right now it's overseen by the state. So we take our sludge and we dump it we got a site at Spring Creek, and then there's 3 or 4 other farmers that they want our sludge because it helps their crops grow apparently. But these bills are specific to Grundy County. So if they pass, they do not affect Tullahoma, Franklin, Coffee, any county around us.
What
I know you have
these
questions.
bills address about Grundy County?
It is my understanding that their truck may be aging and it's leaking.
Okay. Safety.
So the sludge is not getting to the farmer sites.
Completely.
It's just dropping along the way.
Well, I've been told by Jeff, who's our wastewater plant treatment supervisor, that it used to be even worse in Grundy County, where they would just actually take the truck and dump it like on dead end roads and stuff.
What?
So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, they may need
Oh, man, that's
some more.
Oh.
Yeah. But the treatment process is, I flew through that, it's a very simple process. And obviously it ends up back in the creek, Rock Creek.
I guess the question, you know, when we were at this legislative
Yep.
stuff, they were talking about, you know, the disposition of this. Is it regulated? Do we know what we are actually giving or dumping in these sites? Do we regulate it? Is there an overflow? You know, I'm sure that things that come in there, I can't imagine, because we know what's trash and stuff that goes, and eventually goes in their lakes and stuff. What is our position on that? What is the EPA's position? Are we subject to any exposure that we need to be looking at or planning for?
Yeah, we have to have a permit to operate the treatment plant. And then for the sludge specifically, for every site that we dump it on, we have to have a permit for each of those sites as well.
Good.
But the large items, the solids are out are getting out initially in the beginning of the process, and they go to the landfill. Yep.
Yeah. It was really interesting to listen to those guys talk about, possible, what's good today can be detrimental tomorrow by some government entity, and it's, are we prepared? I don't know how far prepared you could be. It sounds like we're doing everything correctly and it's properly disposed of.
We only use one chemical in the whole process, peracetic acid. It's the only chemical. It goes in.
Impressive.
Yep, it goes in near the end and then flows on down to the creek, and they have this step aeration process, and then it enters into the creek. I was down there last week, and the water's crystal clear when it goes back into that creat.
And they test it.
You could drink it, really.
You could.
You
yeah.
could, but
I don't.
wouldn't.
It's not a pollutant.
Well, I mean, good.
You were thirsty.
That chemical does not become a pollutant.
No.
The kicker is that, once it goes, I guess it goes into Elk,
The elk.
down to the dam. And I guess people of Winchester are questioning what the heck we're putting in there. Of course, we may be questioning the people up
No, I
on
mean,
that.
we are so regulated on our treatment process.
Go through audits and.
Yeah, they're really,
It's
to
heavy
get a
scrutiny.
permit renewed, we have to,
Yeah, it's
they'll
a-
come down and it's a process.
I appreciate you putting this on the agenda. It was in the back of my mind after the discussions we had. I'm going, okay, what are we prepared for?
When I seen your email, I was hoping this was the question. I
Oh,
kinda-
you answered it.
I kind of guessed at this.
Well, and it's the same thing, on our water treatment, sewer
That's
treatment, and the water that we bring in from the Duck River,
Right.
from Normandy, undergoes that same scrutiny. Randall does a super job
Yes,
of
he
making
does.
sure all that is A-okay.
And I'll verify with, I mentioned TMEPA earlier, who's our lobbyist in Nashville. Jeremy Elrod stays down on the Capitol, and I'll verify this is only for Grundy County.
That's right.
Because they need a new truck.
Yeah. Well,
Well, don't name a truck. I mean,
so I asked Jeff Tutterow, our supervisor there, that if this did come down on us and we could not take our sludge to farmers, what would happen? And he said we'd have to spend about $1 million on some equipment at the plant. So,
Okay.
Next time you swim in the ocean, don't forget what the cruise lines do there.
Oh, believe me, I'm gonna go in those.
We're gonna go ahead, and
No,
if there's no objections, we're gonna go ahead into our regular meeting, call that to order. First item of this meeting, regular board meeting, March 25th, 2025, the Tullahoma Utilities Authority, is to approve the agenda.
So approved, Mr. Chairman.
And a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion about the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Second thing on the agenda is approve the previous meeting minutes. Can I get a motion there?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from our February meeting.
Second.
Got a proper motion and a second. Anybody have any heartache with the minutes? Everything looked good. Y'all read over those, hopefully. All in favor of approving the previous meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Abstain, since I wasn't here.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. We've already done that. No opposition.
Aye, Captain.
There's a glitch. Say aye here. Do we have any customer comments on agenda items? Nothing's come in. So we'll push on into the specific action items. We just have one. Consider approval of moving the July board meeting date. Mr. President, can you tell us about that?
yeah, just to accommodate a board member or two that will be out of town that week, I'm recommending moving the July board meeting from the 4th Tuesday to the 5th Tuesday, which is July the 29th.
Anybody have any discussion on that? Thank y'all for all, I think we've all sort of got together and we help each other out when we have conflicts, so we can have a quorum and have everybody here. So I guess I'll get a motion to to approve meeting, moving that July board meeting date.
So moved.
And a second.
Second?
Any other discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, that passes unanimously. We'll move into committee reports. Policy Committee, do we have anything?
Nope,
Nothing.
nothing to report.
What about Rate Committee? Nothing on the Rate Committee.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
We hired a rate consultant for the electric department back several months ago. So he's been working diligently on compiling data from probably, 15 years, 10 to 15 years, looking at our rates. You know, we're the only LPC in the valley that does time of use billing, so he's looking into that. So I will be bringing some data to the rate committee soon.
Okay. In the next month or two, probably.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, we're also going to have a meeting April the 15th, the TUA evaluation, Presidential Evaluation Committee will meet April the 15th.
In here,
At what time again?
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
in this room?
Yes.
Okay. So heads up to that. Whoever wants to attend is welcome. Now we'll push into departmental reports.
I think I'll go first tonight.
Go right ahead.
I'm doing two departments, well, actually four. Electric and fiber, water and wastewater. Those two VPs are not here tonight. So I'll go with electric first because I can talk about electric for as long as y'all wanted to talk about it.
Shocking.
Yeah. The crews are, still
Literally.
working very hard at keeping up with these new subdivisions that are coming to town. So they're working at the Pines. Most of that infrastructure is installed. We'll be waiting on the roads to be paved before we put our transformers and the street lighting in. Stillwater, which is Wilson Avenue, both phase 1 and 2 are complete. That developer will be starting phase 3 here rather quickly. And then Sagewood, which is on Sort Springs, that developer has paid his aid in construction, so he's moving right along with that. Lincoln Station, which is East Lincoln Street, engineering is working on that design. And of course, our fiber always follows the electric. So anytime we're doing electric work, fiber is right there with them. The TDOT project on Wilson Avenue where they're putting the new bridge in, that electric work is complete. All the poles are moved, the new wire's up, it's in service. Now the contractor is moving our fiber for us. And the reason that's a contractor job is the state's reimbursing for that. Historically, we did not use contractors here, but we did for that project because it's reimbursed.
Still been seeing a lot of TUA, a couple trucks and crews further down on Wilson Avenue.
Yeah, so they're working on moving fiber for the Stillwater, doing
Okay.
splicing and fiber for that project. Yeah. So that line, runs, it's a continuous line, so
Okay.
it looks like one project, but it's two separate projects.
Gotcha.
Any questions, electric or fiber?
So actually, just kind of referring to the memo that you had sent out about a bug in the software, was there what was the result of that?
I will be honest, you will not like the answer because I do not. So what happened here, just is to give some background, is probably 2 months ago, on a Friday afternoon, we had 1,100 customers, Light Tube customers, go down completely. They lost all their services and they were down for about an hour. We got on the phone with the provider of the software and the hardware, and they got us back up and said, hey, we don't really know what caused this. The very next Friday, it happened to another group of 1,100. So two different groups, so 2,200 total. And this was about 5 o'clock. So I came down to the office and was in the back working with Christopher. And unfortunately, they still do not know the issue. And we have been in communication with them at least every week, sometimes more. But what we are being told is that now they have set up a logger, for lack of a better term, that when this happens again, they are prepared to start logging all the data in and out and they will be able to give us a reason for this. I do not like the answer. Brian Langham, our VP of Electric and Fiber, does not like the answer. So we are not really, I wouldn't consider it a waiting pattern, because I'm hoping that it doesn't happen again. But other than it was a bug, there is not a good answer for that.
Do they provide this service? We're not their only.
Right.
We are not the.
That's the question.
Yeah, they are not, and they're actually probably the most well-known and trusted provider of these services that they provide to us. They're historically a great company with two flaws in very close proximity to each other.
So I guess Jim's fault. So I guess this problem has never occurred with any.
Not that they are sharing with us, because that was the first question I wanted.
Who else is getting hammered?
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, what I will tell you is that we did an update prior to this. So we feel that it may be related to the update.
Well, they're the ones that should say that they feel. So I guess, but they're saying that this type of problem they have not experienced with anyone else. They provide this identical service or product.
That is accurate. At first, they did not want to admit an error at all. And then, so you kind of, you got to start going to the next level of people. And, we weren't happy with the answers. And, once we got on the phone with what I assume smarter and more honest people, they told us that obviously this is our issue. And they're on it. But I'm hoping it doesn't happen again.
I can't think that we would be the only ones that were being affected, though.
Software, essentially.
If they didn't just update our software, it was system-wide, correct?
That is correct.
Right.
Do we know of anybody else in our,
I do, yes.
if they had troubles?
They have not.
Okay, we're just unfortunate. Maybe it'll never happen again. Click your heels, Dorothy.
Well, we are preparing another update of equipment and software. So if it happens to be the version we're on, hopefully before it happens again, we are on the other side
Past that.
of that. That's full transparency. I don't like the answers either.
Well, I understand
It
that.
does no good to not tell the truth.
No.
That's where we're at.
Right. Yeah, I guess first I just like, and you have been, just any information that, continuous information about where we're at on this, because that's all.
For the comfort of the board, we were in process of discussing a very large equipment upgrade with said company that is on pause.
I support that.
Yeah.
So do we.
I support the on pause part.
And they are aware that we are.
They are aware that it's on pause.
Yeah.
Yes.
That may put their,
Yeah.
feet to the fire a little bit.
Yeah. Give them a more sense of urgency of trying to find out what's going on.
And the higher-ups know that, not just the...
They do.
Okay, good.
But I'm still
Good question.
100% confident that we have the best, most reliable telecommunication system in Tullahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll be clear about that. Goes back to me, sorry.
Back to Allen number 2.
Water and wastewater, Dale's on vacation this week. He's enjoying some well-deserved downtime. Dale's off to a great start in filling in for Scott. So glad he could take some time with his family. Also, there's a lot of water, wastewater work going on. You see it over on Avoca Road at the entrance of the fairways, down behind the baseball field in Rock Creek. So East Lincoln Street, they're replacing water and wastewater lines. So the crews are extremely busy. Dale and Randy attended the TAUD, that's Tennessee Area Association of Utility District meetings in Gatlinburg. where they get to network and hear ideas of other water and wastewater systems. Steve Jones with Water Management is still working on our 5-year plan for water and wastewater, which is one of our strategic initiatives. Questions about water and wastewater? All right, Jason.
Well, good evening, everybody. Right now, we're working on closing out our February financials. You'll see the January financials in the board packet, but to get those closed out. AMI project. Right now, we're working through the billing files with local government and our 2 AMI providers at this time, which is Census and Mueller. So we're trying to work that data to pull it into the billing file, which is local government. So we're still working through some of that. NISC conversion. We're training, we're completing the questionnaires, we've done data conversion, so we are moving along with that. Budget preparation, next board meeting, I believe we'll have the first round of budget discussion, so we're moving right along with that. And right now, we're working with customer service to enhance their knowledge and ability to better serve our customers, and which is enhancing our customer experience. We've got some cool things going on there, and we'll be happy to show that to y'all soon. So, right. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
Very good.
All right. So we do have a couple of new partnerships as part of our strategic plan, that developing community partnerships piece. So I'm excited to talk about those today. One, we have partnered with the radio station, The Duck, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, but they will be broadcasting our audio feed of sports games moving forward to give our Lake 2 broadcasters a much wider reach, and then also helping to support the schools in getting those games out to a wider audience. We have officially joined the Tullahoma Chamber's CEO program, which is the Creating Education Opportunities. We previously have not, I would say we've informally participated in that, but we have formally signed on, and our partner school is the Tullahoma Virtual Academy. So meeting with them tomorrow, and excited to see what kind of opportunities we can help to support students there. Last week, Brad Zill, our engineering supervisor, represented TUA by presenting at the Hands-On Science Center, their STEM and robotics camp over spring break. So he took our robotic dog and talked to the kids about the opportunities available in STEM and robotics careers. And then this week, we will be participating in the Tullahoma High School Career Fair. So we'll have a booth there talking to the students about careers at TUA, and then also those co-op opportunities that we have here. And then we also have a couple employees that will be helping in the mock interview process as well. And then the last thing I have is that we will be participating in the Taste of Tullahoma Business Expo for the first time. I'm so excited to have a presence there and talk to folks about the services that we provide, and then hopefully sign up some more people for Lake 2.
When is that?
So that is on Monday. It starts at 4.
And where is it located?
National Guard Armory.
And what are you
The
going to
new
serve?
National Guard Army?
Which National Guard Armory? New one or old?
New one or the
The
old?
old one, right?
No,
The new one?
it's new.
The new? Okay.
I've never been to either one, so.
Which one? What are you serving?
We're serving
Light 2 brake cars.
reliable internet service.
It goes down easy.
It's not just for food and drink, it is a business expo as well, so we'll be
How
selling.
about this calendar? How did this come about?
That is all Shannon's.
Yes,
Shannon's
I'm
work,
glad
yeah.
to see the calendar.
My duck.
I was terribly upset I did not have a calendar for this year.
Impressive.
You do now.
I do now.
Thank you.
Who asked where the calendar came from?
Mike.
Mike.
Okay. You want the truth? I just stood up there and said I'd tell the truth. So here's the truth. We made a decision approaching last year's Christmas party that we were not going to hand out calendars again, because we didn't realize that people use calendars like this.
I have the intro.
And then,
Us older people.
That's the first thing I asked.
And then-
I'm like, what happened to the calendar?
as people were leaving the Christmas party and they didn't get a calendar, they come and found me and said, "Where's the calendar?" And then, so we have calendars
I
now.
love it.
Very good. That's very nice.
A lot of the retirees really appreciate the calendar as a way to remember our employees' birthdays and.
Yeah.
Also, it helps them see when we have new employees because their birthdays and stuff are in there. Yep. So we'll be keeping the calendar moving forward.
Very nicely done, very nicely done.
So we've gone through everything on departmental reports. Now we're ready for board member comments, and I'll start with Mr. Stanton.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I've been out of town. I'm sorry, I've kind of been out of the loop. And all I want to do is congratulate the Tullahoma Wildcat basketball team for the runner-up in the state of Tennessee. Went to the final game and had an incredible season. And congratulations to the coaching staff and the players and to the school. Proud of it. We haven't done that since 1978.
Yep.
When we got beat by Jefferson County, I believe it was, wasn't
The
it?
East Tennessee School, first round.
Yeah.
I was a freshman.
No, I was on the bench actually at that time. I was not a player. I was coaching, but I was not the head coach. But so I will not accept all the blame for that loss.
False.
But we finished in the top 4 that year. So
That's right.
yes.
That felt, the other 60% was on Coach Phelps, right?
Yes, it was.
Coach Dale failed.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's about it for me right now.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Northcutt, tell us what's going on.
I'd like to echo congratulations to the Cats. And to just remind everybody of just how great this overall program is. We've come in first baseball, first in football, and run-up in basketball all within the last 7 years. That's pretty good. I don't know if many cities could brag about that. So, I too, as Alan said, attended APPA and TMEA PA legislative rally in DC, and Alan, you did a great job describing what went on. Alan also did a great job with Congressman Desjardins as he was put on the spot to say why we were there. We both kind of got put on the spot at times. But Alan was quick on his feet, and he did a very good job explaining why we were there and explaining why we needed his consideration for the help for some of these things that were on the books that affected us and public power. Also, the committee that I'm on, the policy committee for that group, also has another legislative rally in July, and it'll be going back up for that. So, yeah. And it's a follow-up to see what's happened from this meeting, for one thing, see if anything's been done, and also sort of look at what's developed since 6 months before that concerns us. So, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, JT. Mrs. Dean, tell me what you got.
I want to thank Mr. Potter for the great overview of what happened at APPA. And it's wonderful to know we've got some really great representation, so between the two of you. And really great updates on the marketing initiatives and Taste of Tullahoma and so on. It's great to see that TUA's out there in the community. So one thing that I'll be part of is looking at applications for our TUA scholarship offering to the Tullahoma High School seniors. And we've got some applications in, and so there will be a meeting on Monday to look at those, and we'll see what happens. Right. So it's been interesting to go through the applications. So, and that's all I've got.
Thank you, Patty. Mr. Toma.
I'm still working through all these acronyms.
Yeah.
Acronym dictionary.
But I appreciate that Alan put on the work session today, questions that do come up from, a lot of times I can understand why you might just totally blow them off. But I do appreciate that. And again, go Cats. It definitely is a long time, especially since you were a freshman. So- And I was working. But I do appreciate and enjoy being part of this very quality board. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, to reiterate what my other board members say, kudos to the Cats. I went up and watched them play. They fought hard. It was just not their night. They had a player from Upperman that was tough, and he had a real good game. We didn't have an answer for that. But hey, best season we've ever had is Tullahoma Wildcat basketball, as far as I know. The Lady Cats also had a good season. So, our basketball did good this year. We broadcast as many of those games as we could not broadcast the sub-state or the state games because the TSSAA controls that, and we didn't have access to that. But we had a good turnout in Murphy Center. I hadn't been up there forever, and it looked smaller than it did when I was there last. But congratulations, Cats. We turn our attention on to baseball and softball now, and tennis, and track. What else am I missing? Soccer? Soccer's in the fall, isn't it? Or is it?
I'm just saying.
If they're playing soccer, support soccer.
Support
as well.
soccer too.
But thanks for our crews that were had to get out and work in the storms that we've experienced in the last couple of 3 weeks. I don't think we had that many outages that I know of. So our crews, our staff does a really good job at that. The way they forecast weather now, we sort of, chew our fingernails and worry, but, my power didn't go out one time that I know of, so appreciate it. Everybody that makes that possible. And I don't have any other comments, and Mr. Allen, what do you have? Anything else?
Yeah, so Alderman Matthew Byrd, he came down and spent several hours touring and learning about TUA. I enjoy these tours that we give. It's really eye-opening for some to see what our team is doing in here and to learn and see how the operation is. He really benefited and enjoyed the tour. At least he told me that he did. And Miss Emma is working on something similar to that for customers. We'll take small groups and let them tour our facility and the wastewater treatment plant, the fiber head end, the substation. So we're working on how to logistically handle, small groups coming in. The chamber, TUA will host a chamber coffee next month here on our grounds, and it's the same day as the board meeting, right? April 23rd. Yep. And obviously we think it's the best coffee in town.
It is.
Without a doubt.
Decaf?
Well, it depends on what you want, Mike.
There's coffee and food and everything.
All right. I'll take decaf.
I want the lady.
April 22nd.
Decaf or no decaf?
We serve food from every to customer. Restaurant, yeah.
April 22nd.
April 22nd.
If it's a customer, that means I gotta fix
Yeah,
something.
you gotta bring a plate, Jimmy.
There it goes.
We had our quarterly retiree breakfast. We do that at Dameron's several times a year. We had that, and we handed out their calendars. They were very pleased to get their calendars. White Tube was plus 20 for February, so that's plus 55 for 2 months. So we're really excited about that. And then lastly, I guess our rallying cry for the past year has been NISC and AMI. We've really just been talking about it, but now it's here. And Jason and his team up there are head first into training. NISC will be here next month analyzing their processes. So we're dead in the middle of that. And with AMI, we're 20% complete. So we got nearly 2,000 meters changed out of close to 11,000. So a little less than 20%. But these are two huge projects to tackle at the same time. I mean, I can't overemphasize how challenging it is for our team but they're doing one heck of a job. And so far, no issues with AMI, and NISC is off to a good start. So it's going to be a challenging 2 years, but I think our team is up for it. That's all I have.
Anybody else? Seeing that there's nothing else to come before this board, we are adjourned.
This place, where you grew up, where your memories were made, and where your dreams were born, where your neighbors stop to say hello, and where you're always welcome to stay a while, where your Fridays are spent under the lights, and where Saturdays are made for the water, where you can feel good about a hard day's work and take pride in a job well done, where small business makes a big impact and home is always a sight for sore eyes, and where the best things in life, well, the best things in life are the little things. Tullahoma Utilities Authority. Power in community.